It is a new season, and new hope is surrounding the Clippers now. So for more on that, I want to bring in our Clippers reporter, Ohm Youngmisuk, who's with the team in Las Vegas. What did you share with me about what's going on in Las Vegas before we get to the Clippers here?
There's a swarm of white grasshoppers that are flying into everything and everywhere. And the parking lot and outside of Mendenhall at UNLV, where the Clippers are practicing, is hopping with grasshoppers.
It is hopping. I see what you did there. All right, so let's go to that hopping practice. What can you tell us about Kawhi Leonard's knee?
So Kawhi Leonard went through the first 3 practices full with the Clippers, and the first 2 were on the first day. But today, Ty Lue told me Kawhi will not practice. Same thing for John Wall. This is part of the Clippers' plan to basically ramp them up, protect them, keep them safe and healthy. There's been no setback. Ty Lue told me Kawhi Leonard feels good. And Kawhi, Paul George, John Wall, Reggie Jackson, several other veterans will not play in the Clippers preseason opener on Friday. This is all, again, part of the Clippers' plan to make sure that they are all healthy and running when the season starts. And, of course, when the postseason gets going, the plan is to make sure that Kawhi Leonard and all these guys will be ready and fit and ready to go at that point.
Absolutely. All right, let's talk about Paul George a little bit. I know you sat down with him for about 30 minutes last night. What can you tell us about his mentality heading into this season?
Malika, Paul George and I talked about a lot of things, including how Kawhi and PG had some lofty goals when they teamed up in Las Vegas and, of course, haven't met that yet, but they still have time. But Paul George says that he has been as focused and locked in this summer. He's only taken 2 weeks off, Malika, and those 2 weeks are to go get married in Italy. And can you even believe this, Malika? He didn't even eat a lot of pasta while in Italy. That is how strict and how focused he has been on his diet. And here's why, Malika.
I'm more focused than I ever been. I mean, like, you talk about locked in. I am locked into this year. You know, I'm prepared and understand what the assignment is this year.
What is that assignment you're talking about?
Winning it all, being the last team standing, and you know, becoming a champion. That window is shrinking, and not a lot of teams can say, you know, before a season start that they have a chance to win it. And you know, I don't want to miss out on that chance.
Malika, PG and Kawhi are going to try to win the championship this season with what is perhaps the deepest roster in the NBA. And George said perhaps the Clippers have to adopt Team USA's mentality here because they have so many guys. Ty Lue's talked about going maybe 10 to 11 deep, that these guys, when they get their minutes, have to make the most of their minutes and their roles with one goal in mind, and that is to win it all, much like Team USA every time they get a collection of stars together. PG thinks that perhaps the Clippers are going to have to adopt that mentality to the season to succeed and get to where they want to get to.
The Clippers are certainly a deep team. I know we've talked about them on the show as a team that absolutely could end up representing the West this season when it's all said and done if they stay healthy. I'm glad to see how focused Paul George is, but I hope for his sake he got just a little bit of that Cacio Pepe. Thank you so much for joining us here on NBA Today. We're going to have the full conversation that you had with Paul George right here on NBA Today. That's coming up next week. Janae?
Thanks so much, sis. So back here with Ramona and Matt, and you heard him. Paul George says that the window is shrinking for them winning a championship. Matt, do you think that this is a make or break year for the Clippers?
No, I don't think it's a make or break, but I agree with Paul. I think it's the window is closing, you know. But what I want to talk about, too, is really hats off to Ty Lue. What he's been able to do with this team, minus his stars for the most part, you know, since this team has come together, has been nothing but remarkable. You know what I mean? He's had them in the playoffs. They've gone to the the Western Finals when Kawhi got hurt. He's kept this ship afloat. And now that you have your 2 stars back healthy with a John Wall who has a lot to prove this year, the deepest team in the league, like Paul said, not too many people can really say we have a chance to win a championship this year. This team definitely has a chance to win a championship if they can stay healthy.
Well, they have more time, at least on their contracts, but in terms of when the pressure ramps up, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard both signed 4-year deals last offseason, so that means they have 2 years and a player option after this one, right, and remaining on their deals. And so they have time, but if This all started in 2019, and we really have not seen them both healthy and both at their best in the playoffs, except for probably that first year, and that was the bubble year. Okay, the next year they go to the Western Conference Finals, but that's when Kawhi Leonard has a knee injury in that series against the Jazz. Paul George played out of his mind. He was great, but they didn't have Kawhi Leonard. Last year, Kawhi misses the whole year. Paul's out with an elbow injury. We just haven't seen this pairing that everyone was so excited about in 2019. And I think the pressure amps up, but they are well positioned. Like, this is a very deep team, and this is a team that has the ability to pivot. If they don't win this year and there's the pressure amps up on, they have a lot of movable parts.
A lot of assets.
That's something I wouldn't have said after they made that trade for Paul George a couple years ago, where they just gave up all their picks.
Kawhi looks like a machine, though. He hasn't done too much talking, but he looks like a machine.
Oh my gosh!
So I'm excited to just see him back.
That is a
right.
great point.
I'm excited to see him back and healthy, and like I said, everyone on the same page.
And it's sort of like one of those things we don't talk about in Los Angeles, like Clippers itching closer to winning a championship in this city. It's gonna be interesting.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.